Hey everybody, welcome Tuesday edition Box Seats. Your host Frank Holder here with comedians known as Talent and Fig. These guys have been in the comedy business for a long time. What else do I always say? I always say they've been in comedy films, comedy festivals, comedy commercials, comedy talk shows, everything related to comedy. And now we got this thing called the Comedy Talk Sports Show, whereas we talk sports with comics. Fig brought up something before we went and came on live. I want to make sure we bring it up when we talking about LeBron and some stats. You know, we said that off the air. I want to make sure we talk about that when we jump into the NBA. We talk about the NBA. But first of all, before we jump in this, and I start doing the COVID report, how you guys doing out there? Did you guys get snowed in and Talent? Did you able to move? Fig, what's going on?
Nah, still snowed in, bro. East Coast style, Jersey style. I'm out here where they got about 2 feet.
Wow, so, 2 feet?
Yeah, so tomorrow, I mean, they're moving. They did a great job. When I woke up and looked out the window, at least the highways, they did a good job in the main roads. But tomorrow this time, I'll be in motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fig, where you at? What part of the world you at, and how bad was the snow?
I'm up here in CT, man. It's we completely snowed in. They did plow, cleaned up the roads and stuff like that. I don't know if people realize, but in CT, man, there's a lot of hills here. Yeah. So even though they snow and plow, it's still, it still has a chance of being icy, get that black ice. But I was up shoveling this morning, man. I got it out. I was able to dig the car out eventually, man. But it, like Talent said, man, we had somewhere between 15 inches to 2 feet. We were close to, if not 2 feet, we definitely were close to it.
Woo! Wow.
I wonder if you could get pulled over, but while driving on black ice.
I know. I feel blessed. I feel blessed we didn't get that amount of money. Talk about the COVID report. Something happened right after we got off the air yesterday. 2 Kansas City Chiefs players got placed on a COVID contact tracing. The center, Daniel Kilgore, and wide receiver Demarcus Robinson, both who play for the Kansas City Chiefs, which people who are Kansas City fans right now are a little nervous because now your left guard who got injured, your center who plays right next to your left guard, both of them look like they will not be playing for the Super Bowl. So if you all know how vaunted that Kansas City, how that Tampa Bay Bucks defensive line is with Sue and a couple of those other guys, you might have a little bit of concern. So there's that. And then the Pistons-Nuggets game got postponed literally 10 minutes before the game tip-off last night. Because why? Because one person tested positive for COVID. So that's the COVID report. You know what I mean? Like, I could do a COVID report for a long time. Right now, I'm picking the biggest news right now for the last couple of days because I literally could do 30 minutes of COVID report. Y'all
Did you say 10 minutes before the tip off?
10 minutes before the tip off.
The only good thing about that is nobody had to go back to their car and go home. All you had to do is click the remote. Oh, it's not gonna happen? All right, let me watch Blue Blood.
Now let's jump into the Major League Baseball because I had a Major League Baseball couple of news announcements. The Cardinals acquired Nolan Arenado in a 6-player trade with the Rockies, which is pretty huge because it's 6 players. You don't know how they moved all that. And then the other big news is the Major League Baseball Players Association, they rejected the proposal from Major League Baseball to delay the start of the season and to shorten the season. Major League Baseball players, they want the season to start on time, and B, to have a full season because they don't want the stigma of what happened with the Dodgers last year with people saying it's a tainted year. So they want to move forward, which is really interesting because we all know COVID is in effect with that. You know what I mean? Like there's a COVID issue.
Right.
Baseball players like, well, we're not contact, let's do that. Let's just stay at that, let's just play the game. Now, the other big story in Major League Baseball where I got to ask you guys we got to talk about this. The Angels pitching coach, Mickey Callaway, was accused of sexual misconduct by 5 women who were women in media when he was with the Mets and when he was with the Indians. Now, here's the thing, Talent. Here's the thing. He sent the women in media pictures of his shirt off, and he asked them to send him some naked pictures. He did not, and I repeat, he did not send them any pictures. Like, remember how 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, we were talking about the former Jets general manager, Jared Porter, who literally was talking with that Brazilian chick, and he was sending her, pictures of his private areas, with naked private areas and stuff like this. Well, this Angel pitching coach, Mickey Callaway, did not send him that, and he still has his job. What's your thought process when you hear about that, especially when he sends pictures to the women in media, and now it looks like here we are 2 weeks later, and guess what? It's back in the news again because now women in media are like, he sent me pictures. He sent me, you know what I mean? And I think we're gonna hear more news and more people being sent pictures, and these type of shaky type of things. You know what I mean?
Well, I think. Well, see, here's what it's getting murky because of technicalities. Now, two things in here. I remember on my news show reading a story where in India, a judge released a guy for sexual assault because they had their clothes on.
Right.
If they didn't take it as serious because nobody clothes was off. So from a technical standpoint, they're still fighting that. So this reminds me of when we look at television and rating movies like rated R, PG-13 or whatever. There was a difference in a guy on TV with his shirt off than obviously a woman because of breast. Your chest is just a chest. Her chest is breast. So the technicalities, like you just said, yeah, I sent a picture of my shirt off, but I didn't send you any real nasty things or genitalia stuff like that. Now, if that was vice versa, that would be perceived a little more, detrimental because, again, it's not chest but breast. So I think the technicality, they're going to skate and ride that. I don't agree with it, but
yeah. Here's the thing, and I want to say this for the record. He sent the pictures with it, all lotioned up and greased up and everything else to women and everything else. That was highly inappropriate. You know what I mean? No matter how you cut it up, if you sit up there and you grease yourself up, and you taking pictures.
Unfortunately, Frank, there's no lotion laws. There has yet to be passed lotion laws where they go, look, he sent the picture, he's not going to jail, but he's going to jail. Yeah, but he violated the lotion law, section 53BC. There's no I don't mean to make light of it, but that's funny as hell. And there's no, I see what you're saying. We know what it is. These stuff. We know what this is. We know where you're trying to go with this thing. And
God,
oh God,
he said motion law.
Yo, it's too early for this, man. It's too early.
Talent, come on, man. Lotion law.
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, you know what's funny? First off, I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody named Jared. You know what I mean? You tell me your name is Jared. Nowadays, I'm looking at you with the side eye. You know what I mean? Jared?
Really? Yeah, Jared's not the one. Jared was 2 weeks ago, Fig. This
yeah, but still. And now you got, first is Jared, now it's Mickey. You look, these are names that we don't find in the hood. You see what I'm saying? We ain't got no Jareds and we got no Mickeys in our hood. And then the funny thing is, like what Taylor said, man, my mind, I went right there, man. It was like, yo, the women are complaining, like, yeah, Anna, he sent me a picture of himself and he didn't wear any shirt. And Anna was like, yeah, well, that's not really a crime. He said, yeah, but he was wearing lotion. Oh, he had lotion on. Yo, man, the crazy thing about this, you can see this on any public beach in America. It's a man with his shirt off. It's in every magazine, in every movie. I mean, where can you go except in your house and find a man without a shirt off, man? I mean, it's everywhere. How could that be a bad thing? He sent you a picture and he had his shirt off. And he was like, I don't like this picture. I'm not sending you nothing. How could that be a crime?
Here's the bigger question is why did it even get to the point where it had to be reported? Like, why would we even be talking about this? This man's job is up right now. And it definitely was inappropriate. This man is in to lose his job, his livelihood, everything, and probably other future things. But right now, he did not send, I'll repeat this again. He did not send inappropriate pictures of his genital areas. He sent pictures and he asked, so I guess now here's the question, Talent. Now, if a man asks you to send over naked pictures of you, now he should lose his job for that, Talent? You know what I mean? All you got to do is a woman to say, no, stop texting me. But should that become national news? Maybe wrong, but
okay. Here's the thing. The national news part, you got a point. Maybe it shouldn't become national news. However, though, and I'm going to stand up for my ladies on this one. I think to solicit for those pictures, yes, because I look at myself, right, and being a single dude out here operating and talking to women and trying to go to that next level, even if it's just conversation or just inbox to inbox or whatever the case may be, I am walking on eggshells. And when I get to the point where I say anything that crosses a certain line, I got to feel 100% comfortable that I'm doing the right thing. Like we're mutually feeling this moment. Like I'm not jumping out the gate like we're talking about what kind of cars we like, and all of a sudden, let me see it. So now, if I go from what kind of cars we like to, hey, send me a picture of your titty, and she goes to HR or to the lawyer or to whatever, I hate to say it, but she got a point, because that means that she was, I read it wrong, or maybe I jumped too far over the gate and I offended her. Yeah. And she liked me as talent, as a friend, and we got the same taste in cars. And out of nowhere, I request an areola.
Yeah, but maybe listen, it's completely. Let me just say this: it's completely wrong to ask a woman for that. But I don't think it should be in the national news, and I don't think a man should lose his job for that, because some men are gonna push that envelope. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna do that. What you say?
Here's the part that I think that's bothering me. If I ask a woman for her number and she gives it to me, first off, I ask for her number. If it's not business related, I'm interested. If she gives it to me, she's giving me the indication that she's interested. How far did this go? I don't know. If I send you a picture, if you send a picture of somebody with your shirt off,
good point.
That's not illicit. It's not lewd. It's a man without a shirt. You see, like I said, we see that everywhere. And then he requested for her to do the same thing. I don't see where's the problem. I just like, what happened to, here's the thing, what I'm saying. What happens to no? He's not their boss. He doesn't have authority over them. He has no power over them at all. He's making a request. What happened to no?
You know what? Here's another thing. What you just said is a big point of that. What was the conversation like leading up to that? Because you don't just, I don't care what man it is and what woman it is, unless you really one of them weird dudes, you don't just walk and approach a woman who you know you're going to see all the time because she's in the sports media. She's doing this all the time. You're going to come across her after every single game. You don't say, let me just send you a picture of my shirt off. And what was the conversation like before?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It had to be a lead up to get to that point. And I said this a couple of years ago when the whole hashtag Me Too thing came about. I said, in theory, it's great. It's needed. It's great. I said, but then I started to watch the execution. And watching the execution of it, I said, oh, man, this is going to get out of control. This is going to be over abused and overused. And it has been, to the point I'm with you. People work together all the time. We cannot disregard the natural attraction of a man and a woman, first of all. So what I don't like is women will, in the workplace, pick and choose who's considered harassment and who is joyful and just crazy.
Yeah, what's the line? Yeah,
I don't like that part.
Yeah, that's what's the line.
Back in the day, we had a joke. It was like, it depends on which guy say it. Like, Flavor Flav come over and say, yo, I like the way your titties look in that blouse. You'd be like, oh, that's harassment. But if Denzel came over and said, yo, I like the way your titties look in that blouse, you'd be like, oh, Denzel, you so stupid. I swear, why you act like that? It depends on who the guy is. And like I said before, you gave this guy your number. Why? Why does he have your number? There's a little more to this that I'd like to know before you put it on, like they put it on national news, and then you're going to fire this dude because he sent you a picture with his shirt off. And as a guy, I know he said 5, but how many times have you gotten turned down in your lifetime before you got the one person that said yes?
Yeah, that's true. Listen, we can talk about that part for a whole show, but we got other things we got to talk about. So let's move on. Let me talk about Dak Prescott, because the news came out last night from something that Dak Prescott's brother posted. Let's look at Dak Prescott right now, because according to Dak Prescott's brother, he's feeling pretty disrespected. Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick, right? There is up until March 9th, the Dallas Cowboys have to figure out what they're going to do, or they're going to have to franchise tag him. Now, all the NFL quarterbacks who are playing who are drafted, who are playing right now, they all are making tons more money than Dak Prescott, but none of them, not one of them, have better passing yards, completions, or anything else better than Dak Prescott. And they all first-round draft picks. Dak Prescott is a fourth-round draft pick. Now, the question is does Dak Prescott have basis and grounds to feel disrespected? Because this would be the third time he gets hit with the salary cap thing. The third time, franchise tag. And no player has been franchised, maybe one or two, has been franchised 3 times. Does he feel the need to say he's disrespected, especially after looking at Matthew Stafford, Deshaun Watson, and all that situation? What's going on? I personally, I'm going to say right now, Dallas should have got his deal done last year. Hands down. Shouldn't even waited to the third year. But that's my thoughts. What's your thought, Talent?
Well, I'm going to say that the deal, I kind of partially agree with you, because to me, I think that the deal should have been done the year before, at the end of the year before. But again, I tell you, like I said before, I don't even play NFL, and I know Jerry Jones' MO. I know Dallas's MO. And I put the blame on his team of people and agents who handle his business for not getting that done in a timely fashion, because football is such a risky injury sport. It's full contact all the time, and you got to know that that's a big percentage and chance you're taking. And if it happens, now here we are, franchise. Yeah, I guess he should feel disrespected, but disrespected by your agents.
Yeah.
We know Jerry Jones lets us know who he is. He has for decades.
Yeah.
He didn't wake up and say, let me start being an asshole with Dak.
Yeah.
He said decades ago, let me be an asshole against black.
Yeah. 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 We can't even dispute that. Fig, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I really don't like it because first off, the guys that you talked about, they got more money. They didn't have to play out their entire rookie contract, and a lot of them were first round draft picks. I think Dak came along in like the 5th or 6th round, and he was made to play out his entire rookie contract. And even when Tony Romo got hurt and Dak balled out, there was still like that moment where it seemed like the Dallas Cowboys was waiting for Dak Prescott to slip up so they could put Tony Romo back in the starting position. But here's the thing. Dak never did slip up, and they made him play his entire rookie contract before they started negotiation. Then after they started the negotiation, they wanted a longer deal. They wanted to pay him a less amount of money, not market. They wanted to pay him less than market value for an extended amount of years. And I think the negotiation part was Dak was saying, like, listen, I'll accept whatever money that the 37 million or whatever it was. He said, but I'm not going to do that for 5 years. You know what I mean? I'll do it for 4 years. Give me a 4. If you want to pay that, if you want to pay me that, give me a 4-year deal and not give me a 5-year deal, because this was before COVID, and we knew the money was going to go up. Right. And Dak and his agent was like, yo, don't stretch it out for 5 years. Don't lowball me for another 5 years like you did me on my rookie contract.
Hey, check this out. Dak Prescott right now is headed for 37.81 million 1 year, $37.8 million per year right now at the contract he's at right now, because the NFL has no salary cap yet. They're still trying to figure out what the salary cap is going to be, which is the reason why he ain't signed just yet. But that's not a good reason to me. That's just one thing I don't say. That's not a good reason to be. But since we're still talking about quarterbacks and we talk about Dak Prescott, the 49ers now have reached out. They're putting together an assembly of things to try to get Deshaun Watson, as we talked about yesterday. But right now, the 49ers are also possibly talking about trying to get Kirk Cousins. I don't know if that's going to make them a better team. I don't know if that's going to make them a worse team. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is the answer. I think the 49ers should push their chips to the middle and go after Deshaun Watson and call that a day, Talent. That's what I'm thinking, because they have the entire assembly of teams. They got everything. They just don't have the quarterback who they think is the real deal, because the way it's shaping up right now, they are about to cut Jimmy G. Your thoughts, Talent? Talent, we can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Hold on one second. 110%. I agree with you. They should just go and do that. I mean, if you go and do that ASAP and get that done, I feel like now you pop full contender right in the thick of things. You're talking about championship games automatically. But it's the 49ers.
Mhm.
We've watched them single-handedly. The 49ers haven't been consistent since Joe Montana.
Right.
They'll come and give you a banging ass season, make you jump on the bandwagon, waste your money on a good jersey. The next season you realize there's no refund policy, you can't get the jersey back. You'll like other teams and players. Then 5 seasons later, out of nowhere, 49ers are back, making a run for you. Like, yo, my team is back. And they'll do that for 2 seasons. And then they'll disrupt it again and fall to the middle or the bottom. This has been their MO for a very long time now. Again, you would have to go back. You'd be hard-pressed to go back to, well, right behind Montana was Steve Young.
Yep. Yeah.
After that, kaput. And then you had these spurts. Good, bad, bad. Good, bad, bad. Good, good, bad. This is their MO. The same way I say that people have shown you who they are, like a Jerry Jones, 49ers organization is showing you who they are as well. So the writing is on the wall, what you said, Frank. Just go grab him, call it a day, and start winning. It don't, as simple as it looked to us, not to them.
Fig, your thoughts.
Man, I'm surprised, man. That anybody would be going after Kirk Cousins. I thought he proved who he was. I mean, even the Washington football team didn't believe in Kirk Cousins. They franchised him until he left. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, why are we talking about Kirk Cousins? Like who's talking about? Nobody's talking about Cam Newton. It's like the black quarterback. All you got to do is mess up once, and your entire NFL career is over. Nobody's talking about the black. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I'm having a moment. Who's the quarterback in Tampa before Tom Brady?
Jameis
Winston.
Yeah.
What happened to Jameis Winston? This is a kid who threw for over 5,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Why ain't nobody talking about Jameis Winston getting another shot somewhere at any point at any time? Like, that doesn't make
5,000 interceptions.
But I'm just saying, it was still.
Fig, you got a point. Nobody's talking about Kirk Cousins' cousins ain't talking about Kirk Cousins.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, yo, it's like, I don't understand. And then, you know, the thing is, the only thing wrong with Jimmy Garoppolo is that he's been injury prone. When he is healthy and 100%, the 49ers made it to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And then he got injured. So what is it? I'm telling you, if the 49ers get up off of Jimmy Garoppolo, it wouldn't be a stretch for me to see Jimmy G back with the Patriots. I mean, I like, because that was Belichick's boy. That was the dude that he wanted to come in and take over for Tom Brady. So I can see him going back to the Patriots because that's who Belichick wanted in the first place. I'm just like, yo, where are these brown skin quarterbacks that were still good? You know what I mean? And just get him another shot to be put in a different system with a different team and organization around them. They don't get a second shot. And they're doing the same thing to that.
Fig, you're trying to get us to have a whole conversation about black quarterbacks for a whole hour. I'm trying my best not to do that because we got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Because that's where you're trying to go. I see it. I see you drop little nuggets here and there and there. I see what you're doing. See, I ain't falling for the Jedi mind trick, bro. Just let you know that now. I'm not falling for the Jedi mind trick. Just want you to know that. I'm not falling.
You're not falling for the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not falling for that. And let's keep the conversation rolling. I want to talk about Aaron Rodgers because next year, you know, this upcoming season, Aaron Rodgers is supposed to make $36 million in contract hit. You know, that's going to hit the salary cap, $36 million. The following year after that, $39 million on Green Bay. Now, we all know Green Bay has to restructure his contract. Do you think they will, or do you think Green Bay is going to cut him and then try to re-sign him, or will they try to figure out a way to try to keep him and in the midst of that lose him because they cut him? What's your thought process, talent? Because, you know, we talk about that, but then I didn't realize, you know, Aaron Rodgers' contract. I saw it this morning. What's your thought?
Well, I mean, to me, that's again, now I think back to the statement you referred to yesterday, because now it becomes super interesting. Now it becomes, was that statement made as a setup so that in parting ways with Aaron Rodgers, it makes the team look like the good guy?
Mm-hmm.
If I issue a statement and say, hey, you know, Aaron ain't going nowhere, we're keeping Aaron, but I know that I got to restructure, And I may know that Aaron's not down to restructure, not in the way that I want to. So when we part ways, the franchise fan base doesn't get mad at the franchise. It looks like they tried, but Aaron didn't work with them, and they had to part ways. That's what it looks like. What we call that is insulation.
Ooh, I like that.
It looks like insulation, if you ask me. However, I think that if what I believe to be correct is correct, again, stick back to your Pelican brief. Aaron Rodgers is going somewhere else, like the Dallas Cowboys or Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I can see that too. Fig, what's your thought process, especially after you're hearing the cap hit that he's getting ready to have?
I'm just trying to win somebody. I think the restructuring is that Aaron Rodgers, even though he's owed that amount of money on his contract, that contract is not guaranteed. Like all of the guaranteed money has been used up. So even though he may be due that, none of that money is guaranteed. I think the restructuring is Aaron Rodgers may want some of his money guaranteed. Right. You know what I mean? And I think that'd be the problem. Listen, if the Green Bay Packers got up off of Aaron Rodgers, that would be one of the craziest moves I've seen in a long time since Peyton Manning. Now, Peyton Manning, we know that he had a severe injury, and that's why they got up off of him. But we saw what happened with Peyton Manning after he left and went to another team. I could see Aaron Rodgers doing the exact same thing because clearly he's been to two championship games, just shy of the Super Bowl the last 2 years. And quite possibly, had you gotten him a little more weapons instead of drafting his replacement, he might be in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, he could have been. He could have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years. He could have been easily. Like he could have been like, hey, I'm doing that. I'm getting ready to do this. I mean, listen, if you're Aaron Rodgers, you can complain. I don't know. It'd be real interesting to see what's going to happen in the next 5 weeks because Aaron Rodgers right now, I think he's playing chess. You know what I mean? I think he's laying out these little nuggets here, like one here, there, saying, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure if things looking good. I think that's what he's doing.
And I'm gonna tell you something else, Frank. If Aaron Rodgers was black, that would have been got rid of him.
Banana and the tailpipe, bro. Not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. All right, let's move on because I did want to talk some more about football, but we don't have that much time. So let me move on. I want to talk about this courtside drama that LeBron James had last night before we talk about what Fig brought up, with the stats too and everything, and then bringing Rodney Perry. I don't know if you saw this last night, but I saw it. I didn't see the game, but I saw obviously the drama that happened, and I saw the thing. So let me tell everybody out there, if you didn't see what happened, LeBron James, the Lakers are playing, of course, the Atlanta Hawks in Atlanta. LeBron James, they have a moment. Next thing you know, they stop the game. LeBron James going back and forth, but people on the side during courtside of the game. Turns out LeBron was saying some remarks to this guy in the courtside. The guy said some remarks to him, and then his wife jumped in, ended up stopping the game. The security came in, and they kicked out 4 people of those people who were sitting on the side of the game. They kicked them all out. LeBron said last night after the game, he didn't think it had to be so drastic of him getting kicked out, but he was just happy that some fans were back in the game and during courtside and getting his motor and stuff riled up and everything else. So my thing is I'm going to ask you, Talent, when you saw the whole thing, because I'm sure you saw you saw all that stuff. I'm sure you saw all that stuff. What's your thoughts when you see a woman who basically instigated the whole thing? LeBron was fine going back and forth with the guy. The woman, the whole thing, I was like, she's trying to get her 2 minutes of fame or 60 seconds of fame, trying to, because now her social media is all over the internet. Her social media stuff is all on ESPN. She got her, 5 seconds of fame, 15 seconds, whatever it is. People, ESPN put out her social media thing. I was like, oh my God. I don't know, man. What's your thought when you saw this, Talent?
Now, in a normal setting, I would say this is too much. This is ludicrous and the whole LeBron shenanigans. But I'm going to take the other way this time because we're in COVID season. Mm-hmm. Because we're in COVID season, that extra over the top reaction, you got to realize you're talking about a game that went fanless for a minute, and they're trying to chip their way back into giving these guys a little fan base, whether that's the camaraderie, Spike Lee, Reggie Miller shit going on, or whether that's saying people going, yeah, Bron, I'm your number one fan. Either way, that both of those things go with fan. When you let fans in, you got the cheerers and you got the haters. who's going against you. In this case, because it's COVID season, I'm not going to be riled up like, oh, they went too far. Even though they go too far, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on his side in this case. And even he said, hey, man, I wish it didn't get that drastic as far as, repercussions, but it did. Again, I got to take LeBron's side on this because if you're going to go to a game, we have to take extra precaution in ourselves of doing our due diligence as far as being the right type of fan. We got to realize we can't do a lot of stuff we used to be able to do. I can't bark at you because me barking at you, saliva could fly. Or you barking at me, saliva could fly. We're in different times.
Bro, I think we should first note that talent, for the record, took LeBron James aside. Right there, that should be a new stat because talent don't take LeBron James aside for nothing.
See, now I'm not in the side because you made it a stat.
But it's a stat. It's a stat. When I made it one, not like there's that stat. You jumped on LeBron's side. There you go. Fake. What's your thoughts when you hear the courtside Karen?
And man, the thing is, first off, when guys are going at each other, it's normal. It's almost like a part of sports. Like trash talk, it's like a part of sports. And I think that a lot of guys get it. When I saw the video of the woman, it seemed like she took it to another level, like it was like it was personal. And when you trash talking, it's not personal. It's like I'm better than you, or I'm better than your team, or your team is garbage type thing. It's trash talk. It's not really personal. It very rarely when guys are trash talking gets to the point where it gets physical. And she seemed that she was highly offended and that she was, wanted to take it to the point where it almost like where it was going to get physical. And then when she was yelling, what Talent said, she took her mask off. You know what I mean? Like you said, we're in a different time. You can beef, you know what I mean, to a certain degree, but you can't take your mask off and start beefing.
Yeah, so, but like LeBron said, I think we didn't talk about that part. I think alcohol had a lot to do with that also, bro.
And that privilege, you know what I mean? That courage and that privilege goes a long way, man. I mean,
bingo.
She looked like she was really out of pocket because under ordinary circumstances, if LeBron was an ordinary guy in a different situation, I don't think that she would have been going at him like that. Because, I mean, look, he's 260, 6'9", and I don't think he has any fat unless it's on his plate. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going at a guy like that on a regular situation.
With a guy like LeBron, if she was outside and a guy like LeBron's stats, and I mean stats is in bodybuilding and everything else, there's no way she'd be up in his face like that outside. No way. But it's the time we live in. Anyway, let's move on. We were talking about the Brooklyn Nets yesterday, and here's one thing, the fact that I did not mention to you, either one of you yesterday, and I want to throw this out to you, Talent, and you, Fig, because after I saw it, I saw a couple of NBA things last night, and there's one stat that I want to say to you. There has never, ever been an NBA champion, right, who's ever won the NBA championship with the worst defense in the league. And yesterday, the news was released that the Brooklyn Nets, statistically speaking, have the worst defense in the league and has so far over the span of 40 games, it is at a historical factor with having the best players and the worst defense. Never before has that ever happened in NBA history. So there's a stat for you there right there, Talent. Like never before you have assembled three guys like that, all-star players like that with playing the worst defense in the league. So there's my little statement for you, Talent. Does that change your thought process on Brooklyn Nets right now, looking at how they might fare in the playoffs? What's your thoughts now when you hear that?
No, I think, again, this is a game of levels, a game of turning up and down, clicking that switch, so to speak. I still think that we're talking 40. So in 40 games, whatever's left, it all breaks down to your conference first. And then if you make it out the conference, it breaks down to the matchup. I'm still not going to bet against them because, again, like I said yesterday, I hinted around the bait and switch. This might be the what we call the okie doke, the bait and switch, where, I'm going to show you all the wrong things because people who play each other, they go off a tape. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you the tape I want to give you. And we know that a lot of those players, by watching the Nets alone from coming out of last season, even with an injured Kyrie and KD and without a Harden, we know they can play D. Mm-hmm. They're not playing D right now, which is ranking them last, but we know they can play D. I believe that stat. I'm not saying they're going to get the chip. I'm just saying I'm not sleeping on them. Nobody's going to get me to look like and start talking trash about the Brooklyn Nets like it can't happen. I'm a gambler. That's how they get you to put the money on the wrong team and then whoop your ass. And now your clothes are outside on the curb because you lost the house. I'm not doing it. What's that song? I'm not going to be able to do it.
Can you do it? I'm not going to be able to do it. Can you do it? I'm a little concerned because I know what Taylor was talking about the defense. I think the defensive players that they got rid of, I think is Allen and a couple of other players are injured. So their defensive core, I don't think is there anymore, either because of injury or because they got traded for Harden. Number two, I'm also not a fan of trying to flip that switch or turn it off and on, during the season or when it really counts. I think the Clippers tried that last year, and we see what happened to them. You know what I mean? They had a team. I mean, especially when you get to the playoffs, everybody is pretty. When you get deep into the play, everybody's pretty decent. You know what I mean? You got some good teams over there, and those guys are not there. They're there for a reason. So right. I mean, at any given night, you could have it handed to you, especially if these guys are scoring with ease. Here's the thing: what happen when guys score with ease? They get confident, and then even when you start playing defense, you can't stop them. If a guy gets hot, he's hot.
That's a great point.
Ain't nothing you can do with him. If an NBA player that can score, if he catches fire, ain't nothing I don't care what you do with him. The only thing you do is double and triple team him and hope to get the ball out of his hand. But if he's going one-on-one or whatever during the regular course of the game, ain't nothing you can do with him. It's done.
And I'm gonna say this before I bring in Rodney Perry. That people think that you could just turn it on and off like that. The Celtics 2 years ago when Kyrie Irving was playing for the Celtics, he said, "Don't worry about how we doing this season. We're gonna turn it on." Yeah, they got swept they lost in the first round to Milwaukee. They won the first game and they lost because they thought they could turn it on too. So that turn it on thing, I ain't a full believer of that. But anyway, let's bring in Mr. Rodney Perry. See Rodney Perry, whether you agree or disagree with all the things we're saying, because that's what his segment's all about, y'all. That's Rodney Perry. Rodney Perry, what we said? What you think?
There you go.
He about to set it off.
It's just so much. So much. I'm really appalled at my colleagues here. They find a way to make this sexual assault thing seem palatable, man. The long and the short of it is, man, you got a livelihood, you're a viable coach, and you pulling your clothes off, among other things that we don't even know about yet, to upwards of 5 women. Dude, do you think these women not talking to each other? Do you think that these women, hey, creepy ass, what's name hit me up last night? Hey, I bet he gonna pull his shirt off. Tell him what, if he pull his shirt off of me, I'm reporting this black ass. Even though he's not black. Now, is the Me Too movement under scrutiny? Man, I'm a father of 5 girls, man. I'm inclined, because of the history of men in America, to believe these women. Just on that alone. What's the name? They got caught up on a case. The white comedian. God dang, I can't think of his name. He didn't get a case, but he got some controversy.
Yeah.
Louis C.K.
Right? Oh yeah.
Louis C.K. And I'm of the mindset that if you're in my room at 3:00 in the morning and I pull out my thing, it's in my room. My thing is in my room. It's in my room. You don't look. It's in my room. If I was you, I'd leave. That's still wrong. That's still wrong. It's still wrong. So we can't take this stuff lightly. And we're in a new day, new time, new era. I mean, mean, keep your penis to yourself.
It's in my room.
It's in my room.
I am keeping it to myself.
Let me tell you something. I wrote a joke one time. I said, you know what, man, we're all rapists. Every single man in the world is a rapist. Why? Because at some point during the dance, a woman says no. If a woman ever says no, at that moment you become a rapist. The only thing that makes you not a rapist is when you go to pull off her panties and she lift up a little bit. At that moment.
Look at Frank's face.
Dak Prescott. This is what's wrong with Dak Prescott. I'm telling you, Dak Prescott's brother got a tweet to get some respect. What type of Dak? If you don't come up to the bar and say whatever you need to say, I'm not paying him either. Why would I pay him? He can't even spend it for his own self. His name is Dakota, for God's sake.
Yeah.
His name ain't cool. Dak Prescott. Dakota. You gotta start acting like Dak. You walk in the office and tell him what you want. Oh, here's another thing I disagree with. Jimmy G, if Jimmy G do this and then Jimmy G. Well, how about the fact that the 49ers had incredible defense too?
Yeah.
They did.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Rodgers will never leave the Green Bay Packers. He will never get cut. He's not going to leave on his own. The organization is still head and shoulders above other organizations in the NFL. It's just a fact. He's never going anywhere. Fig brought up some great points about the treatment of black quarterbacks in the NFL. It goes back to the great Warren Moon. I had the pleasure of talking to Warren Moon about this subject on my podcast some years back, and he echoed all the stuff that Fig is saying today, and that was 30 years ago. 30, 40 years ago. How about this? Black coaches got a short leash too. Black coaches build up teams, and then they hand it to a white coach to get the chip. It happened in the 49ers. It happened up there.
Indianapolis.
It happened. No. Dungy got a ring in Indianapolis.
Yeah, but Dungy did it to Tampa Bay. Dungy did it for Tampa Bay. He left the following year.
He ended up getting the ring later on. And he beat my Bears that year, which didn't feel good enough. But anyway, LeBron James, courtside Karen. LeBron say, "Look, dog, me and another grown man was having a conversation, and this chick got in." This is what you don't know about LeBron James, and it's good to see. You see my brother Tyler sitting next to me today. People don't know this. I was in Akron, Ohio, at the barbershop. I said, "Where's LeBron Daddy?" I asked the question, Frank. I said, "Where is LeBron's daddy?" You know what they told me? They said LeBron got a daddy. See, I was under the impression that LeBron didn't have no father, but LeBron got a daddy. LeBron's daddy is a pimp or was a pimp, a real life pimp. So we got lucky that man didn't raise LeBron. Because if that man had raised LeBron and this young lady would have got out of hand on that court, type of back slap, LeBron would have been standing there with a type of hat like this. Hold up, baby girl. Pow! 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 Pow!
Hey, Rodney, you saying LeBron would have been playing basketball with a hat like that?
Hand me the ball, jive turkeys. Hand me the ball, jive turkeys. I'm gonna
shit.
I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna say this in closing, and this issue has been plaguing the box seats for some time now, and somebody's got to say it.
Somebody.
Fig's hair looks way better in the blizzard. When the snow and it's glistening and it gets the right amount of liquid to dryness ratio. Fig, I see you, brother. I see what you're doing. Very impressive.
Yo.
Very impressive. I can't get mine to do nothing. I need a blizzard.
Hey, Rodney is out of his rabbit ass spot. Let me tell you something, man. The funniest part of the whole segment today, first of all, the rape joke, impeccable, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, Frank got uncomfortable and did this. Rodney said, every man's a rapist. Frank sat back and said, not all of us. Not all of us.
That's
the only thing.
Salute.
That was funny. That was funny.
Yo, this is
Everybody else,
hilarious.
Rodney Perry, with that I disagree segment, y'all. We know we're gonna keep the show rolling on.
Hold on. Frank, you're not going to address the fact that he called LeBron James daddy a pimp. We're not going to talk about that right now.
That's a fact. That is a fact.
I'm not gonna talk about that. Oh, act like I didn't hear.
I'm telling you, I got it straight from the barbershop in Akron, Ohio.
Oh my
I'm gonna act like I didn't hear that he said LeBron James his daddy works outside.
We got lucky that man was raised by the men in the community, the middle of the community.
Like I said, we gonna just talk about LeBron James' daddy works outside.
Daddy.
That's all we're gonna say. That's all we're gonna say. Now, let me just throw this out there because
Here's a better question: how do you champion sexual assault and then do a pimp joke? That's
you gotta be a genius. You're a genius.
That's the problem. That is the contradiction that Rodney Perry is.
Yeah, that's what Rodney Perry does. Rodney, you always bring out the best of us.
I'm sorry, guys. I got to jump out. My daughter just texted me. She needs me to come pick her up.
All right, y'all. Rodney Perry, y'all. That's Rodney Perry with the 7 I disagree. Yeah, everybody, that's that Rodney Perry. So let me keep the show on. Let me keep the show going, and I'm gonna ask you all this question, right? Because you know we got to keep the show going. Houston won by 30 last night. Talent. Houston, the same Houston that traded James Harden. They played the game. They beat up Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder did some drama last night, and they played really well in the playoff last year. But guess what? Houston's coming together, bro. They're putting it. Let's not forget that they've won like 6 out of the last 7 games. You know what I mean? Ever since James Harden left, their record has been immaculately better. They have 1 loss since James Harden left. 1. 7 wins.
I think they're 8-3 now.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They won by 30 last night, Talent. You know, we had this discussion about last week. We were saying Houston getting better and better and better and better and better. I think they are, Talent. What's your thoughts?
Well, there's a new Houston in town, baby. Listen, I just left there. I told you. It's a new Houston in town. 3 words. Give us free. Give us free. They are free. They feel free. I was there. We had a couple of players in the house of that show I just did last Saturday. You know who was in the house? Forget the players. Everybody was all over the players. The girls want to meet the players. I talked to the most important dude, the Gatorade dude. The Gatorade dude said, T, you ain't going to believe why we winning. He said, do you know that majority of the team likes blue Gatorade? James Harden would not let them have the blue Gatorade because he liked the red. When James Harden left the team and he was free to drink blue Gatorade, win. So it's that simple, bro. When you take the cancer out of the situation, everybody feels free. They feel like they was on the Amistad. And he left, and you see that courtroom scene. You ever see the movie Amistad, that courtroom scene? Give us free. Houston is free.
Bro,
that's what you're looking at. You're looking at a new Houston.
I don't know how you do it. I swear you come up with some analogies. I don't know how you do it, bro. And you know what, Fink? Talent never uses the same analogy twice. Never ever in the month of February does he ever use the same analogy twice. Never. Like, where you come up with that one? Give us free.
It's true. They free. They playing free. Didn't I say that? I think about Matter of fact, that was Friday's show when I landed in Houston, and I'm doing the show from the airport. And I said, yo, there's something about playing together and liking each other. Fig went to the analogy of the Golden State, how they were hanging at each other's house, going to each other for dinner, hanging out. That camaraderie, bro, I don't care what sport we talking about. If it's a team sport, camaraderie is everything. And, look at the team. The couple of new pieces, there's no pressure.
Right. Right. Fig, what you think?
Yeah, man, like he said, there's no pressure on them to win, man. And we talk about the players, man. They got a squad, man. They got some dope players on that team. You know what I mean? It took them. I mean, when a new team gets together, it takes them a while to gel and to get that cohesiveness and camaraderie and stuff like that. It takes a minute. And when I know James Harden won it out, but what he was actually complaining about, he said we're not good enough. And John Wall said that's not true. We haven't been together long enough to know if we're good or not. We haven't even played. And we know Boogie Cousins coming off a couple of years of injuries, you know what I mean, that he wasn't himself 100%. So you get a chance, you give the team a chance to get healthy and galvanize, and they start winning. If we talk about the players individually when they're healthy, they all straight up ballers. But they got Oladipo, they got John Wall, they got Boogie Cousins. Individually, those guys are dope. They're dope players. You put them all together on the same team, you got problems, y'all.
Hey, Galveston, is that close to Galveston, Texas? I was in Texas. Yeah, you got Galveston. Galvanized? The word of the day.
Galvanized.
Wouldn't it be something if Houston does better than New Jersey this year? Wouldn't it be something?
Wow.
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, because believe it or not, it's possible. Because Houston is
I see that happening. I see that.
Yeah, it's very possible. Houston's getting better and better and better and better. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't know who's going to get kicked out, but they're going to make the playoffs. But wouldn't it be something if they get further along in the playoffs than Brooklyn does? Wouldn't it be something?
I tell you one thing, Frank. If you're right about that, I would be very happy for one person, and that's John Wall.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to see John Wall do his thing and get his props because I know, like you said, once a team starts losing, no matter how big or small the market, it automatically becomes small because of viewership. And he's been stuck over there in purgatory for a long time. And I know for a fact how bad that dude is. And if he has a healthy season, knock on wood, and this team wins more than they did with James Harden just leaving, I would love to see John Wall get his props.
I would too. I can't even front. I love John Wall. I love Bradley Beal. I love those scrappy type of players who are dogs. You know what I mean? They're able to bring it out of you. I love Boogie Cousins. I just love those kind of players, man.
I'm a big fan, bro. Them dudes, same as you, scrappy players. I mean, I know this ain't got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but Fig, he's right. Your hair is immaculate. I just took a second and really look, and the angle you was just sitting at where you could really see that. Wow.
It is glistening. You know what, y'all?
That's man. Y'all crazy, man. I swear.
That's the show tomorrow. I gotta make sure I look as pretty as Fig, all shaved up.
Ain't gonna happen. This brother looks so immaculate. I've never had a crush on the dude on the Tuesday. I tell you that. Not Tuesday. Tuesday?
You've been in that hotel room too long,
You've been singing too long. That's the problem.
Hold on, man. No, hold on, Talent. Let me get my phone, man. I need to call you a jump off immediately. Hold on. 1-800 jump off. Right?
Talent, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, everybody, follow me on all social media platforms today, especially because my PTA show at 6 o'clock will be on my Instagram, which is Talent the Comedian. It'll be on my Twitter, which is at It's Just Comedy, and all my Facebook. So check it out at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock tonight. It's going down. And Fig is usually on it. Fig, don't come on in tonight, man. I'm feeling
I'm gonna be cool tonight. Yeah, you can follow your boy Comedian Fig on social media platforms at Comedian Fig. And if you can't find me there, you find your boy on the box seats Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. The best damn sports show on TV.
Yo, y'all, thank you for tuning in. I want to thank Rodney for doing his segment called I Disagree. Thanks to Talent. Thanks to Fig. We are on every Monday through Friday from 1 to 2. We also repeat on the Humor Mill channel, which you can download the app or you can watch it on the actual channel. And you can call your cable service provider to add us in case you don't have us. But you know what, guys? It's been a great show. I love the show today. Talent, you know, you, Rodney, and Fig, boy, y'all some special dudes, man.
Vic. You know I'm not gay. You better feel a little uncomfortable. If you don't feel uncomfortable, hey, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm thinking about wearing a hat from now on.
I'm gonna leave because you know what I just realized? I both realized y'all are dressed alike with the camouflage. So there might be something going on that I don't know about. So with that being said, we'll see y'all tomorrow.
Yo, pause.
That's a good one.